So two things we'll do today. One is UseEffect, uh, how to use the UseEffect part of the React hooks. And second thing is we'll do the project. And the project is a simple application where I can add data. The data will not go into the database. It will be in the local memory only. So just to know how to use the add, edit, delete, and the name of this small project will be things to do. Things not things to do, it will be things I like. So if you like movies, you can put movies, and if you want something, if you like something cricket, you can put cricket, something like that. So edit is the update, and view. So these are the four things. Generally, I try to avoid this edit part because edit part is little complicated to understand and implement. But someone asked me the question that he wants to do edit, so I will be showing you the edit also. Though it is little complex than other things and not for very beginners, but I will show you, then you can practice whenever you feel comfortable. Okay, so let's now start. Okay, so what we will do, this is the home page which I built yesterday. This is the pay part we built yesterday. Let's try to run it again. I'll do npm start to run it. And then we'll see how it looks in the browser. Okay, so let it start. So I will see what is happening in the developer. So I will put the console.log of developer is developer. So I want to see how the changes are going in this developer in the console.log. Still starting. It will take few seconds more. Okay. So I will not be using the Redux to do these things because to understand the Redux will take still more 4 to 8 hours to understand the Redux part. So I will do that Redux part in our live project, which I will be starting tomorrow. So we'll be doing Redux at that time, and I will also Redux only when it is required. I will use only when it is required. So if some project does not require the Redux interface, I will not use it. And in some projects, if they are complex or if we need the Redux thing, I will use Redux. Otherwise, I will build everything in the React. Okay, so let's check. Starting in the development one. So we have to see today now what are the use effects are, because it's a very important thing and we will be using in every application which we build. So we should understand what is the use effect is. So we will start with the react.useEffect, and this use effect, use effect is used in many different situations. So one of the situation is whenever there is a prop change or state change, whenever we have change, let's say language change or years of experience change, whenever there is a change in any of the props or state, I can call the something a function inside the use effect. So I'll call the function which is arrow function. This function will be called whenever there is state or props change. So I can write console.log state is changed. Okay, and I can pass the developer. Okay, I'll pass the developer later. I'll just want to see the change. So now I created the use effect and I put the arrow function inside it. Okay, and so whenever there will be a change in the state or the props variable, here we are not using props, but if we pass the props, if there is a change in the props, then react.useEffect is called. Okay, let's see. Now someone is asking someone is asking me that 1000 project, what are the languages covered? I will be doing this all 1000 project in React.js, and backend will be Parse server. Though I'll be doing one or two small learning project in backend as a MySQL or backend as a MongoDB, but those two will be only learning projects. When we do the real projects, it will be all in the Parse server. Okay, so I try to speak louder because if you see the recording, it's a normal voice. I think there is problem in maybe in your microphone or speaker. Maybe you can check that. If everyone feel that I'm speaking low, then I think it's problem on my side. Okay, so what I did, I put the state is changed. Now whenever there is a change in the state of props, then this React use effect is called. This use effect is called only after this div tag is rendered. So when the page or component load, first this div tag is rendered, and then this use effect is called. Just a reminder to let you know when this use effect is called. After that, whenever there is a change state or props, then this will be called. Okay, so there are many different ways of use effect. One of them is whenever there is a change in the state or props, then it is called. And there are other times also when it is called. I will show you. So when the page is loaded, you will see, I can see the state is changed, right? I can refresh it again. Okay, why DF coming? Okay, so you will see in the code. I wrote the console.log also, which is coming before the state is changed. That means this whole part comes before the use effect is called. Are you getting me? This part. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So the use effect, though I have written before this console.log, you will see the use effect. Use effect is called where after the first render of this component. and then UseEffect is called. And now, see, it's saying state is changed because first time when we load the page, always there is a variable defined or variable created state or props. So first time it is called automatically. So whenever we use the UseEffect, this will cause the whenever we create the UseEffect, so the UseEffect will be called at least one time. So now if I change something here, you will see state is changed. State is changed. State is changed. So state is changed every time. Every time when I change this, I am calling this UseEffect part. I can change the language also, and then state is changed is reflecting here. So what exactly we are doing? We are calling this UseEffect whenever there is a change in the state. Okay. Now I don't want to call someone is saying I cannot see the screen. Maybe you can log out and log in back again. You will be able to see the screen. Okay, so this is the one method that I want to call the state change every time there is a change in the state or props, but I don't want to call it every time because it will be too noisy. Every time it is calling the UseEffect. So I can pass as empty rectangular bracket. So if I pass this empty rectangular bracket, what is the problem? Why you are not able to understand? Okay, so I'll repeat this UseEffect again. So this UseEffect is used when we want to do something whenever there is a state or props change. So whenever there is a change in the developer language or ES or experience, I want to call the UseEffect. And so I create the UseEffect with the arrow function inside it. Now whenever there will be change in the language or experience or any props which is coming, here no props is coming, therefore we only think of state variable. So whenever there is a change in the state variable, I call this UseEffect. And when I go to the browser, now whenever I do the change in this one, you will see I'm calling the state is changed because I did console.log inside the UseEffect state is changed. So whenever there is a change in the state or props variable, I will be in the UseEffect. Is this clear part, or you have any problem in understanding this? Is it clear? Okay. Now, since one second. Okay. Now, since this UseEffect is called every time there is a change in the state, I don't want it in the real life because it will become too noisy. I will be having hundreds of props or hundreds of state variables, and every time I am calling the UseEffect, so it will become little noisy, and I don't want that. So I want to call only one time when the component loads at the first time. So to do that, I will pass the empty array as a second parameter to the UseEffect. So when I pass the empty array to the UseEffect as a second parameter, if I call this component, so when the component loaded, this is the first time you will see the state change is called. But whenever I'm changing something, you will not see the state is changed after that. So it is I'm changing the state variable, but my state is changed is not called. It is called only once at the time of loading the component. So now what I'm doing, by passing the rectangular bracket, I'm telling the React script to call this part of the code only once whenever there is change, whenever the page or component is loaded. So this is the second thing. So I'll write down in the notepad. So use effect. First time, I want to call use effect every time whenever there is change in state or props. So I will call it as react.useState arrow function like this, and some code I will write inside this. Okay, this is the first use case. Now there will be the second use case. Here I want to call use effect only one time when component is loaded. So to do that, I will use this is use effect. My bad. So it is use effect, not use state. I will call use effect. Here I will call the arrow function, and I will pass rectangular bracket as a second parameter, and here my code will go. Third use case will be, I want to call use effect only when certain variable is changed. So for example, right now I'm using the developer. So for example, let's try to make this separate variable. So I have two variables, so I can show you the difference between the two. And this is the years of experience. So instead of developer, I'm creating two variables so that I can show you the third use case. And whenever there is a change on the language, I change only the language part. So initially it is Python and it will be changed to Java. So I'm setting the language whenever there is a language change, and whenever there is a change in the input box, I will change the years only. Here I'll write arrow function, and here I'll change this arrow function will get E as a parameter, and in the state year experience I can say e.target.value. So whenever I change the text box, I will updating the years of experience, and whenever one second, let me just a camera. Whenever I click the button, I change the language. I wanted to create the two variables. Okay, so handle change is not called now. I'll comment it. So now the third use case, let's go to the third use case again. I want to call the UseEffect only when certain variable is changed. So to use that, I will use react.useEffect, and I will pass arrow function as normal, and as a second parameter I will pass the array, empty array, but it will be not empty now. It will be having the variable which I am changing it. So for example, I have variable 1, and whenever there is a variable 1 change, I want to call this UseEffect. Some code is here. So whenever there is a change in the variable 1, I call the UseEffect. I can create another UseEffect where there will be different code, but here this code will be called when variable 2 is changed. I can create third UseEffect. I can pass variable 1, comma variable 2, and this UseEffect will be called when there is either change in variable 1 or change in the variable 2. So if any of the variable 1 or 2 is changed, this lines of the code will be called. But when there is a change in the variable 2, this line will be called. And when there is a change in the variable 1, then this lines of the code is called. So these are the three ways which are used for the UseEffect. So let's try to implement this third way. Sorry. So let's go and try to see. So I will create the first UseEffect. I will say this will be called only on load of the component. Okay. So let's copy this in the UseEffect, and I create another UseEffect, and this UseEffect will be called only when there is a change in the language. Since I want to track language, I will pass language in the rectangular bracket. Right now I'm commenting the first UseEffect, and I'm uncommenting only the second UseEffect. Now I will be checking whenever there is a change in the language. This should be called. This will be called only when there is a change in language, and I can check the new language, whatever the language is there. Okay. Okay, let's do this now. Okay, somewhere I'm using developer, so it's calling it on line number 39. Let's fix that. So here I'm calling developer, so let's remove this one. Okay, three places I was calling developer. So now you will see initially when the page is load, there is initial setting of the state variable. So we are calling this language one time, or okay, language is Python, years of experience is 0. Okay, so this is something that these are the console.log, but this is called only one time. This will be called only when there is a change in language Python. So initially we set the language state variable. So on load of the component, this is called. So when I do change in the this part called as years of experience, you will not see, though you are seeing this. Okay, let me remove this console.log so it is clear. Because of this console.log, I am seeing unnecessary addition. Okay, let me refresh now. So initially the page is loaded. I am seeing this. This will be called only there is a change in the language, when there is change in the language Python. So when I change the years of experience, you will not see anything in the console.log. But when I change the language, you will see this will be called only when there is a change in the language Java. So I was able to track whenever there was change in the language. Now let's do for the years of experience. Now I'll put, instead of language, I will put years of experience to see what is in the years of experience, and this console will be seen whenever there is a change in the years of experience. So let me refresh it. So now when I change the language, nothing comes there in the console.log. But when I change the years of experience, you will see, I can see the change in the years of experience in the console.log. Okay, so this is called only when there is a change in the years of experience. Now, we have seen how to see there is a change in the language, I go into the UseEffect. Whenever there is a change in the years of experience, I go into this one. What if I want to track both? So I will take language and I will pass as a second parameter in the array language. This does not matter if language comes before or after, it doesn't matter. So now I will say there is a change in either of them, either in years or in the language. We have to call this one. So now when I load the page, whenever there is a change in the language, I am inside it. Whenever there is a change in the years of experience, I am able to see the change in the UseEffect. So this UseEffect is very important, and we have the 3 use cases, which I will put it in the README. I'll copy, I'll put it in the README so you can take it whenever you want to use it. So the 6th thing which we did is UseEffect. So these 6 things are useful in building our React application. So other small things are there which you will learn gradually as we do a lot of projects from tomorrow. And in the past also I have taken the video. You can go through those videos to see what are the other small things needed in the React.js. But these are the very important elements for you to understand to start the React project. Now I will do the small project, and you'll see how everything is used in that small project. So the project will be like this. The name of the project is Things I Like. So whatever things I like, I will try to put those things in my form, and I want to see that things, and then I should be able to delete anything, and I should be able to edit the things, and I should be able to add the things, and I should be able to see the things in the list. So I will write down the steps also as soon as we will do what things I am doing. I will write down the steps. So the first step is I will be creating following pages. Today's project is very small. You cannot put in the resume. It is only the learning project, today's project. This is a small project. But the project which I will be starting from tomorrow, you can put in your resume if you have followed me. That means if you have coded along with me. Okay, so I will not be putting the tomorrow's 1000 project in the Git so that no one can copy and paste the things. You have to follow the video and do the things and see the errors and the page yourself, and then you put those things in the resume. So I'll be building 1000 projects, more than that, in the period of few months. I don't know how much time it will take, but we will be doing a lot more projects. Many projects will be duplicate kind of thing, because we have built something and we will be building similar kind of thing another time. So it will be, many of the things will be similar, but you can put it. Yeah, today and yesterday's project is shareable because this is not the real project. This is only the learning project. This is something you have to learn. But the project which I will be starting from Monday, that is tomorrow, it will be, many of those projects will go live. You can see in the public domain. and many of the projects will be for learning purpose also. Okay, so what we have to add the following files. First thing is we have to create the files. Okay, what are the files you have to create? So one will be, so today's code link is already shared yesterday in the channel. I will share it again if you want. It is the Git link. I will share it again. See, since 18 days I am taking the classes. I have explained you all the concept of the React. Okay, and Redux also I have explained in those 18 days. So you know the basics of React JS. Only thing now you need the experience of building the projects, real life projects, because many complications will come when you start building the real project. So you need to see how to resolve every complications which you get, and you should have the practice of doing the projects. That's what we'll do from tomorrow. So regarding the basics of React, you people know everything. Whatever I showed you yesterday and whatever I showed in the last 18 days, if you have followed me. Okay, so what are the files? Okay, any other question before I start building the things? I shared the yesterday's video. Okay, you are talking about tomorrow, 1000 projects which I will. So tomorrow, whatever I build, the video will be shared in the group, and I highly recommend to complete that video in 1 week period of time. The video will be available only for 1 week. So whenever I do any class, you have 1 week to finish that video. So okay, I'll share my LinkedIn profile also. Let me show you again. Okay, it's asking me so this is my LinkedIn profile. If you want to go, and so this is my name, and this is 10 years back photo. So don't do not think I'm look like this right now. This is 10-year back photo. Maybe I can change it today or tomorrow. So right now I'm in Pleasanton, California. Yeah. Right now I'm in California, working in Pleasanton. So this is I have something about 18 years of experience. I started working in 99, but officially I started working in 2002. So actually the coding and all thing I started in 99, but officially doing something I started in 2002. Okay, so that is something my starting period. Okay, so now let's go with our project. So what is the step one? Step one is we have to create the following files. Since we will be doing the things I like, it's kind of the add, edit, delete, view functionality. So I need to create the following pages. One is, for example, list. List will be, I want to see all the things which I like. Then I want to add the list. I want add component. I want edit component. I want delete component. I want, okay, right now these four are okay. So I'll be creating these four files for our project. So let's create the project. So I'll put the project in a folder, things I like. Okay, I created this folder. So first file will be list.jsx. Second will be add.jsx. Third will be add and edit will be kind of uh, one file. I'll be handling both there. Okay, so add and delete, edit will be in the one of the JSX file. So let's go to the list one, and here I will import. I will create. Okay, I created the empty structure list one. Right now I'll not put in add and delete. Let me first put everything here because this is small project and this is for learning part of it. So I will not be following the real structure which I will follow when I will go with the real project. So right now let's imagine I will be adding edit part also here. Okay, for now. Okay, let's start with the first one. So here I will start with H3 tag and I'll say things I like. Okay, things I like. So here my add form will come. So to do commenting, here add form will come. Okay, and after add form, I will be showing the list to the user. So this will come, list to user will come here. So these two things are needed right now. So I told you I can create in the add.jsx also, but for now, for today's sake, I will be putting add form here only. But we can move that into the add.jsx whenever we want to. Though it will add little complexity, which I will show you later, but right now let's put it here. So I will say form. I will create a form tag. And in that, let's create one div tag. Or we can get something from the Bootstrap. I will share my extension in Visual Studio Code after completing this project. I will show you. Okay, let's go to the Bootstrap and find something. So this is one of the spinner. Let's try to find something about. Let's go to the normal Bootstrap. And let's try to find the input tag, how they are doing input tag. So we have forms. So this is one of the input tag. I can say take this one. So before adding that, let's call the app.js, and here instead of calling the home for, I will be calling list from things I like, and in that I'll call the list. Okay, so instead of calling that home, let's call the list. Okay, so instead of calling home, I'll call the list. Now let's go here. So I am in the things I like project. Okay, and let's put this in the container class name so that I can get some proper spacing of this one. So there is a very small spacing at the top, which we can write our custom style sheet to make a little space in the top before these things I like. But I can create a class also, or I can put inline style sheet. Inline style sheet can be created using the two curly brackets. I have to use key value pair for this I will use margin top and let's say 20 pixel. So in the CSS I would have created like margin dash top and 20 pixel. If I would have created a CSS, I would have used this one. But in the React, this will not work. So I have to use for the top minus T, I have to make this capital. And this 20 pixel will go. In the CSS, it will be directly, not even a single quote. It will be directly like this. But here we have to do like this. So we have to make this capital T and put this in the single or double quotes. So if I do this, let's see what's happening in this. So I can see now space at the top. Now I copied this code, this one, and I will put it here to get the text box. So I'll say name, or I'll say things. This will be the things which I like. So there is a problem with this for also, which I will tell you in a bit. Type should be the text one, and I can say things help, and here I will say things. So I just created. So there is some problem. The input should have ending tag, which is like this one, and then I will. So this is a simple input box, but I have to change the class to class name. And there is problem with this for also, which I will show you now. So if we go here, you will see. Okay, this one of the error warning is this one. So generally for is not allowed in the React one because we use for the for loop. So instead of for, they suggest us to use HTML for. So whenever we see the for in the label tag, we have to use HTML for. So now this is the add form things. I can put a placeholder so that user know what he has to do. I can say add things which you like. So here I have to add the things which I like. So I can add something and I can press enter and it should be in my state variable. That is the purpose of this exercise is. So whatever things I added, I should be able to track that changes. I should be able to put in the state variable. So I will use the state variable things, comma, set things equal to react.useState. So initially it should be empty string, and later on whenever I change, I should be able to put this in the things. So this things will be, this things will be the things which I put this input box. It will be only the one thing which I will be putting, tracking it. But when I submit it, I should be able to put in some array which I will build just now in a bit. So right now, just think that this things, I will make thing, not things. This thing is nothing but the changes in the input box. I am tracking the changes in the input box. And I will put also the submit button. I will also put a submit button here. So whenever there is a change in the input box, I want to track it. I want to keep that in the memory. And so for that, I created one of the state variable, and that variable is called this one, thing. Now, I will put a submit button also and change the class to class name. and how to put the things in the thing one. So for the value property of the thing, input box, value property of the input box, I will put the thing, that is this variable, and whenever there is a change in that input box, so I will say on change equal to, I'll create an arrow function inside it. So whenever there is change in this input box, I should be able to call the set thing with e will come here as the event. I can say e.target.value. So whatever things I will do in the changes, it will update this set thing, and final thing will be available in this thing variable. So if I want to do the console.log of thing, I will put console.log of thing like this. Now let's see what is happening. So whenever I do any change, you will see the thing variable is updated with some value. So what things I like, for example, I like movies. Okay. So when I press enter, I should be able to save this movies in some array, because I will be adding 10s or 15 or many things which I like. So I should be able to see, I should be able to add all this in an array, and then I should be able to display that here in the array. Display array here in this page. So when I click the submit button, I will call one function. That function is called handle submit. So I create a constant handle submit with arrow function, and here also I'll get the E as the event. So first thing is we need to stop the default form submission. Now what will happen if I call this handle submit here in the form tag on submit equal to handle submit. So what will happen, check here. So I will put anything here. When I click submit, you will see the page is refreshed. You will see the page is refreshed, and I'm not able to submit anything. Page is refreshing because of the form submit natural feature. So I have to stop this form submission. Now what I will do, how to stop that form submission? I will use prevent default. So e.prevent default is right. Someone is putting in the comment. Udit is putting in the comment. So we have to first prevent the form submission. Now I have to put this, whatever is coming, whatever thing is there in some array. So I will create another state variable. This will be things. Things will have all the things which I have. So this will be array. Initially it will be array. So I'll be, whatever thing I have put here, I will be putting in the array, and this array will nothing but an object, kind of object. So it will be in this format. So ultimately I want this array to be in this format. It will have the object of this is the array of objects, and each object should have ID with some unique number. It should have a thing which I like. That is what I have put it in this variable. So something movies, and it should have also UID, that is user who has put that. Right now I am the only user. We don't have user authentication right now, so I will just put user ID of 1. So because I am just using myself. So these three things will be there in the object. One will be the ID, then second thing will be the thing which I am editing, and third thing will be the UID. So if I add more, I will be having another object with the ID 2 or some unique one. We need to put unique ID for the ID. UID I will put one hard coded right now, but when we go with the live, we should have the user ID who is logged in to our website, and I can put the second one like this. Things which I like this one. So this is something which we have to make. We have to build the object like this whenever the user submitted. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so whenever user click the submit button, I will create an object. So let me create the object equal to, and this object will have three fields. One will be the ID, which will be some unique value which I will put it now, and there will be thing. This thing will nothing but the thing which I am getting this one. So the thing is a key, and value will also be same thing. And third thing will be UID. UID I will put hard coded as one. So generally when you go with the real database, you will get auto-generated ID in the real database. Here we don't have auto-generated because we are not putting in the database right now. We are just making the project live in the memory. So we don't have the ID, unique ID here kind of thing. So for now, I can use some JavaScript functionality to add some ID here kind of. I will use the date object, and I will use the now, that means the current time, and I will convert this to string. So this will give me some string, and it will be unique because it is created every second it is created. So this will be the unique ID. And let me see what this looks like. I'll do console.log of object is. Object. So whenever I submit the form, I will see what the object looks like. So when I click the submit button, you will see I have the object with ID some unique number, and the thing is movies, and UID is 1. You need this ID because whenever I want to delete it, I should be able to delete based on this ID. Whenever I want to edit it, I should be able to edit it based on this ID. So we need some unique ID. In reality, in real world, we get it with database. They provide the automatic IDs. But with this scenario, we have created our own ID, which is of this format. Now next step will be put this object in the array which I created. This is the array which I created. So how can I put it? So I will put using the set command of this one, set things. So now, how to put this in the set things? There are a couple of ways to put that, but I will do one now. And in the live, I will do other thing also. I showed you yesterday also the same way, but I will just do one. So I have to take first this things which is already there. So since it is an array, I will create an array rectangular bracket, and I'll take first 3 dot and things. When I say things is here like 3 dot, so whatever the previous value of things is there, I am taking that the previous value using this 3 dot and the things. When I say 3 dot and things, that means whatever value previously is there, right now it is empty. So we will not get anything initially, but when as we go on adding the object, this will have the previous value, and then I will just put object. So that means what it is doing, it is taking the previous value and appending it with the object. So array will have a new element of object here. Let's check this one again. Let me do console.log of things also. a REST operator. Yeah, it's a REST operator. We always use it's also called spread operator, and this spread operator is always used whenever we have to manipulate the object or arrays. So we are using this spread operator. So now look what will happen when I'm adding movies. Things is empty because I haven't clicked the submit button. But the thing is the text box variable, which is the movies I'm putting. When I click submit, see the changes which is happening. When I click the submit, thing is same movies, but things have changed, and I now get array, and array is the first of 0 element with ID and thing and UID. I can put another one, for example, cricket, and I will add it, submit it. Now array has 2 things. One is movies and one is cricket. So we have 2 elements now in this my array. But when I add it, you will see cricket still remains here. I don't want cricket here. Once I click submit, I should be able to empty this out. So we will do this one. So after setting the things, I will call this set thing again. In this case, I will empty. Empty means I will empty the thing. So once I put the things in the things, I want to empty the text field. So I will make it empty like this. So now watch what's happening. I will do movies and I click submit. So this has gone empty and it is existed in my things. So now when I add one more, it is adding this one. So putting null here is not right. I cannot put null here. I'll show you the problem with the null. So when I put something here and I click submit here now, you will see the error. This warning, it's a warning. So the thing is that why we got this warning? Because this React want this text field, the text field which I created, this input box. This value should have empty string or some value. It will not take the null value. So we cannot put the null. If we put null, it is going null here in the value, and React cannot handle the null for this input box. They want some empty string. So we have to put empty string like this. So now, since I put I put this my handle submit form, and I'm able to put the things, and I'm resetting the form field. Now what I want to do, I want to display these things on my page. I want to display here. Okay, so to display it, let's display it like this. Okay, so let's take the React Bootstrap table. So to display the things, so let me see the table. Okay, I can use React Bootstrap also. I can use Bootstrap also. Either way, I can use whatever I want. So let's take table now. So previously I took this input form from this normal Bootstrap. I would have taken same thing from the React Bootstrap. Where is the React Bootstrap? I don't have. Okay, let's put the React Bootstrap. So this is one of the spinner. I could have taken this spinner input box from here also. Okay, 1 second. So here also input box is there like this. I could have taken this also, but I have taken that also. You know, it's up to you. If you like Material UI, you can use that. If you want Bootstrap, you can use that one. Whatever way you like, you can use that. Okay, so Material UI is also a great UI tool. You can use that also. But for this project, it is Bootstrap. I will use Material UI in some of my projects. Okay, in later session. So I could have used this one also, but I took this one. I can in the table also. I can take this one or that one. Either way is fine. Let me see. Table is there. Where are the table? I don't see the table. I can search Bootstrap table. Okay, so this is the example of table. Let's take this simple example. I'll copy this table. So I put this table. Only thing I need to do the changes in the class to class name. The rest everything is fine. So see, GraphQL, if you want to learn GraphQL, I will take few sessions on the GraphQL also to show you how the GraphQL works and how to use GraphQL in your application. Okay, so that I will take some time in future how to use the GraphQL. But my live project will be without GraphQL. I will show you GraphQL only for the learning purpose, how to use GraphQL in some of the lectures. Okay. So now I have this one here. Let's see how my app looks. So since I took the for table which is there, I can see this table here. Here I will have the hash sign. So I can put here instead of hash sign I can put ID, and I will put the things which I like. And next will be the edit one, and last will be the delete one. Let's try to put edit and delete link like this. Similarly, in this tr body, I'll put edit and delete here. And I will remove all the other rows. We have the tr tag with one row, and this is the header. We have the, right now it's coming hard-codedly, but I will be putting with the dynamic value. I need some spacing also after the submit button, which I can do similarly as I did previously, like this margin top. I can put this for the table also. Or I can put in the CSS and I can use that one. So here you're seeing there's a space created. Okay, now as soon as when you just click the submit button, this should get empty, and that part, the one which I added, should come here. Okay. So initially I will check in this table if this data is there or not. If things does not have anything, then I should not show this table. So before table I will put the wrapper. So I will start with the curly bracket and I will say things is there and things dot length should be greater than 0. So when I get this condition, that is things should be there, like this should be there, and since things is the array, I will say things dot length should be greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, that means there is some item in the things which I want to show. And if these two conditions are made, then I will show something. Then I will use this one, ampersand, last ampersand, and I will show the table. So previously when we used to do normal JavaScript or other languages, we check if things and things dot length greater than 0, then we use curly bracket and we show something or do something. But in the React JSX, we have to, or in the JavaScript also, when we put ampersand, this will go with and check if it is true or not. If this is true, okay. And then it will go to this part and it will check if it is true or not. I will say, okay, it is true. And when it will go to the last ampersand and it will display that one. So when these two both are true, then it will display. We are not using ternary operator here. We're using only this condition that if things, this part is true, then display this part. So to do that, I can say if these two are true, and in the last I will also put ampersand, ampersand. When I put ampersand, ampersand in the last, whatever there is in the last, it will be displayed to the user. Okay. So that is the purpose of ampersand, ampersand. That is to display this part if these two conditions are true. Okay. Now let's go there. Now I cannot see the table because initially it is empty. As soon as I put, you will see table is coming, but it is not taking the data which I put it here. Now let's fix that part. Let's fix that part to show the data, whatever I put it here. So I have everything in this things array. I will loop through the things array. To loop through the things array, we can use curly bracket again, and I will use the things.map. In React, to loop the things, we use map always, and map is an arrow function, and it takes the record. That is, it will loop through the array, and it will take each element as a record, and then it will go and take second element as a record. So I put this record. Instead of record, I can put item also. Whatever I want, I can put. Now I can see what is in item also. Okay, let's see what is there in the item. So you will see item is ID, thing, and UID. So what I will do, I will copy this TR and return it here. You have to return something. Without return, it will not work. Map should always have something written. And here I have to give some key as I explained you yesterday. This key will be unique and I will put item.id. And first column is item.id, so I will put item.id. Second column is item.thing. And next is the edit one. So for now, I will just give it a span tag. And I will put the edit here. In the span tag, I will say on click. And here I'll create the arrow function. Inside arrow function, I'll do just console.log now. Editing, and I'll put the item. Same thing I'll do with the span delete tag, so I know which item I am deleting. Item. So we have first column as ID, second column as the thing which I like it, and then I have edit. In edit, I use the on click one, and I use the console.log editing, and I'm saying deleting which item I'm deleting it. I'll delete this part. Now let's see. So you will see this unique ID is there, DDD is coming, edit is coming. Okay, I have to change this text. But if I'm clicking it, I'm getting editing part. If I click this, I'm getting deleting part. But here, my mouse cursor is not the correct one. So let me fix the mouse cursor also. Here I will name it as delete. And let me fix the mouse cursor. I can create the class also. But for now, this project I'll do inline styling. I'll use cursor equal to pointer. Okay, now let's refresh. Movies. I get movies. Now I can see the pointer. And when I click edit, I'm able to see edit part here. When I click delete, I can see the delete part here. Let me add more. I see cricket. So I will see all this here in the things I like. So I'm done with the edit part. I'm done with the listing part. So we list the items in the array. Now thing is we have to work on the delete and edit part. Let's start with the delete one, because delete is something which we can do quickly, and then edit is little complex, so you have to pay attention clearly how I'm doing edit part. So let's try to do the delete part now. So when I click the delete button, I should call, right now I am using this on click, but I can create a function also here so that I can keep it outside this JSX code. I'll say handle delete, and here I need actually for delete I need only the ID which I want to delete. I don't need any other thing. So first thing is we need to see if this has some value. If this is empty and I'm trying to delete something empty, we don't need to delete empty thing. It's already deleted. So here I will put some check. If things is not there, I will return it. I don't want to delete anything. I will also check if things dot length is equal to 0, then I'll return it, because if it is 0, that means it does not have anything, so no need to delete anything. When these two conditions are done, that means there is something in the things, then we need to delete it really. So how to delete it? So my data will be like this in this format. Am I passing the ID 2 or 1? So first I have to see whether I want to delete this first element in the array or the second element in the array. But I have only ID. I don't have this key, this 0 and 1. So first we need to find out which element I am deleting, first element or the second element. So let's find the element. So to do that, I will create index, which index I want to delete from the array. We are recording this. So first thing is I need to find the index which I want to delete it. So to find the index, I will call the array is things. And in the things, there is a JavaScript property called as a find index. This will give me the index of the array. So if I return something true for this object, I will get the index of 0, because this is the 0th index and this is the first index. If I pass the ID 2, it should give me the index of 1. So I will put the find index, and in the find index I have arrow function. Inside arrow function I will be getting element. So for the first case I'll get this as an element, and second time it will loop, it will give me this as an element. Now if I return true, then index will be that one. So if I return true for this, index will be 0. If I return true for this, index will be 1. So I have to check. What I have to check? This element dot id, whether this element dot id is equal to the id which I am passing. This is the id I am passing. I want to check whether this element is equal to. If they are same, I pass the index. And I want to see the index now. Okay, let's see what is the index I'm deleting it. I have to call this handle delete and I click the delete button. So here in the delete part, in the handle click, I'll call the handle delete and I'll pass the item.id because it is expecting only the ID. And here in the delete, I will just console.log deleting the ID. Here I'm saying which ID I'm trying to delete it. Okay, so this is one. Filter will give me the array, and so filter is not suitable for this purpose. Element is, one second, element is find index. What find index will do? It will loop through the things. Loop through these things, which it will go first item and second item. So this first item is element. So this element is nothing but the first, this object. And second time when it will loop, the element is this second object. So this is the record which it loops every time. And every time I check with the ID which I am passing. If it is matching, I will return the index. Otherwise, I will not return it. Okay, I return true, then it is matching. So I will say movies, cricket. So I have two things now. I'll click the cricket. So you will see deleting the ID 609. It's a 609. Index is 1. So this is 0, this is 1. So if I click first one delete, I am saying 928, that is 928. And index is 0. So this is a 0 which I am deleting it. So now once I get the index, I have to delete that index in the array. Okay, so we will do that part now. So I got this index. Now I have to delete something from this things with the index of whatever I got it. So how to delete it? So I cannot manipulate the things. You will see things can only be manipulated by the set things. I cannot directly manipulate the things. In JavaScript, in React, we cannot manipulate the variable which I created in the state directly. So I have to create a copy of this thing and manipulate it that one. So I will say constant copy of things. I can name it anything. I just want to show you. And since this is an array, I will use array and I'll put 3 dot and put the things. So in this line will tell that this copy of things is nothing but everything what things is, but it is copy of things. Whenever I manipulate this copy of things, I am not manipulating the things. I am manipulating only the copy of things. I cannot manipulate things directly in React. We have to manipulate things only by using the function setThings. So I created the copy of things. Now I'll delete from the copy of things, not from the original things. Okay, so let's delete from the copy of things. Now, so to delete, I will use copy of things dot splice. Splice is the function which will remove the item from the array. So it will tell from where you want to delete it. So I have to give the index that from this place I have to delete it. And how many items I have to delete it? Every time I have to delete only one item. So I will say one item I have to delete it. When I say this, it will delete an element from the array. It will delete it. And here I have to say from where we have to delete it and how many items I have to delete it. So that is the purpose of the splice. Now, splice changes the original object. So we don't need to assign it to something. We don't need to assign it to some variable. Because splice automatically delete from the original object. Okay, so we don't need to assign it to something. And after this delete, this is the delete process. When you go to the real database, you don't have to do this logic. You have to just pass this ID to the backend database, database will delete it. So you don't need to put this headache. This is temporary one which will not be used anytime in your lifetime. This is only one because we are dealing with the memory. That's the reason we are doing it this thing. But in real world, you will be calling database. You don't need all these things. So once I delete it, I have to update the things with the new object, new array of this copy of things. So I will call the set things after this line. I'll call set things with variable copy of things. Okay, so once I call set things with the new copy, that is deleted one, the old one will be deleted and new one will be replaced, and these things will be updated with the new one, and this display will change. So let's see this in action. So I'll add few one. Okay, so I added few things. Now let's delete all this junk one, which I don't need it. So I need only movies and cricket. I don't need the junk one. So I'll delete this one. I'll delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. So you'll see all which I don't want it gets deleted. So manipulating the state is through, we don't have to mutate the things. Mutate means we are not changing the things variable. We are creating the copy. We are creating the copy by this line of the statement because I don't want to mutate. I want to create a copy and then I manipulate the things. Since this is an array, I am creating this copy with the array. If it would have been object, I would have created like object like this dot 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 things. So only difference will be curly bracket if I was having object. Splice does not work in object. So object has to tackle different way. Okay, so we are done with the delete. Any question on delete? Okay. So now let's quickly finish the edit and we are done with the project. This one. Okay. So let's finish the edit one and then we will be done with this one. Edit one is little bit tricky, so just pay attention how I'm doing the edit one. First I'll copy the function of handle delete and I'll rename it to edit, and in the ID I will also pass the data. So this data is a new data which has to be replaced for this ID. I'll delete this part. Okay. So in the handle edit, I have to pass the ID also. and I have to pass the data, the new data which I want to use it. Okay, so now how to do that? So this is my form tag for edit, right? Let's copy this form tag for, this is my form tag for add. Let's copy this for edit. In real world, I will use the same form for the edit and add together. But for simplicity now, I am creating the edit form separately. So this is my edit form. And here I will call another function called as handle edit submit. Okay, handle edit. Let's call this handle edit. Okay, I'll let you know what I will calling it. Let me just remove it for now. So first thing is, right now the value is coming from the thing. Okay, but I don't want from the thing. I want something. When user click the edit button, I want it from that edit one. Okay, so I copied this form. I copied this form and I did some changes, though I had to do more changes on this one and this one change. Okay, so now I need to add one more React variable called as edit ID, and I'll say set edit ID. So whenever I click the edit button, edit link, I will update this ID with the ID which I want to edit it. Okay, so here I'll say react dot use state, and then I'll say initially let's say I pass null. Okay, I can instead of ID, since I want to since I want to uh, since I want to show the value also with the edited one, whatever I want to edit it. So instead of ID, I can also call it as edit item. So that means when I click edit button, I will put this whole object in this variable so that I can track this one also. Okay, so this is little complex. You have to just understand and go through the recording again to do it correctly. Okay, so this will be little complex in the first place, and once you go through again and again, you will be able to do it correctly. So I want to put this whole item because I want to display that one. I will put in the chat. This will be publicly available today. So once you have the URL, you can use it. Yesterday I put private, but some people say that they are out of time zone they want to see. So I made it public yesterday. It's recording also. I will say edit item. So initially this edit item is null. So whenever the edit item is null, I don't want to show this form. This edit form I should not show when edit item is null. Whenever the edit item has some value, that means user want to edit it, then only I should show this form. So here I will put the check, edit form item is there, then only show this form. This is edit form. I only show if I have edit item. So initially when the page will load, this form will not be visible. Okay, so this will be visible only when I have edit item. And here in the value thing, I want to initially show whatever user has in the edit item. So I can say edit item dot edit item dot thing. Since edit item will be nothing but this object, so I can use the thing to display it initially when user want to edit that one. Okay, and initially the edit item will be null, so I won't be able to display this one. Now what I'll do, on the clicking of the edit one, I will set edit item with this item. Whatever item I have, I'm setting this edit item with this item. So now, once you just click the edit, I will call this set item, and I will put the item in it. So now it will be this object. Let's try to see what is there in the edit item. So this is the edit item. Let's check now. Okay, initially the edit item is null. I put things. Okay, now edit item is null, but when I want to edit, for example, this line, I click the edit, and you will see edit item is having this all three values. If I click this one, I will be having like this. If I click this one, I will be having this one. Since I clicked last one, for example, you will see my edit things form is appeared here, and I can see the text here. Okay, and when I click update, this will update this value, and this will be the new value which I have updated it. Right now update does nothing, but I will be doing it now. So when I click update button, I will call the onSubmit form. OnSubmit equal to, I will call handle edit, which I created just now. This is the handle edit, and I don't need anything. I don't need anything. Okay. Because I have everything in this edit item. I have everything in this edit item. Okay. So I can take use of this edit item and use it in the handle edit. I don't need any parameter right now. But this add form, I should not show the add form when I'm showing this edit form. So I will hide this add form whenever I show the edit form. So here I will say, if edit item is there, if there's nothing in edit item, then only show this. So I'll say no edit item, then show this form. So initially it is null, it is not there, it will appear. But when I click the edit button, I will not show the add form. I will show only the edit form. Okay, so this is one thing. The edit part is a little complex. Let me finish it and then I'll go through again how I did the edit one. And you have to do 5-10 times, or you have to practice it continuously by watching the video how I'm doing. This edit part is a little complex, and in future, when we go to database, this handle edit will not be like this. It will be different way, and I'll show you that also when we go to database. Right now, just try to learn this way, but when you go to database, it will be a different way. Okay, so what I did, edit item is little complex. I did not want to take the edit item today, but someone asked me that he has to do in his project, so that was I'm doing it. But edit item is little complex. I try to avoid the edit item, initially. So when I don't have edit item, I will not display the form. I will display the add form. When I have edit item, I will display the edit form. Okay, and when I click the update button on this handle edit, I will be inside this handle edit. And here I will say let's update, and which item I have to update? Edit item. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So when I click edit button, I see edit form, add form is gone, and I see test 2. If I click test, I see test. Now when I change something, okay, when I change something, it is not changing the things because I hard-codedly passed this thing in it. So I should not pass this hard-coded in it. I should be able to pass something different. So here I'm passing edit item dot thing, and then because of this I am not able to edit this because every time whenever I do change, it is only passing the one which is here. So I'm not able to change it. So how to fix that? Generally when I update the edit one, when I update this form, I should update this thing one because this thing is my dummy, is my variable which is really needed for changing the text value. So I will call this, use this one thing, and in the edit form I will pass this thing and I'll say or. So what this line means, check the thing. If thing is there, use that thing. If it is not there, then use the edit dot item dot thing, edit item dot thing. So initially when I load this input box, this thing will be null. So I will show this edit item dot thing. But as soon as I try to edit it, this thing will be updated using this statement. And second time I will be using this thing, not this edit item dot thing. Let's take this one again. So now I click edit. So initially the thing is empty, so I'm able to see test2. But as soon as I write thing will not be empty, then I will be able to see the updated value. Now though the edit item has test2, but my text field is having the different one. And when I click update, I should be able to see, I'm able to see this edit item, and I want to also see the thing which is the new field, or new field value. Okay, so let's try to see that these two things. I click edit, and now when I click update, okay, since it is a form, and when I'm clicking the update, it is refreshing the page. So I need to call e with e dot prevent default. Because it is a form, it is refreshing the page. I click edit and I update it. Now when I click update, again it is updating. What happened? It didn't. We don't need the things right now. Okay, things is needed we to update it, but why it updated? Okay, let's check it again. Okay, now it's not updating. It's not refreshing the page. So now when I click update, this is the old value and this is the new value. Okay, we need to replace this old value with this new value. So how to do that? So first we have to, similarly as we did in the delete, we need to find the index. So I'll find the index with this method. Okay, so I got the index. Now I will also create one object which I will replace with the old data. So I will create the object. This will be nothing but which is the new object which I will replace in place of the old. And I got the index which I want to edit it. Okay, and here I am not passing the ID here. So this ID should be from the edit item. I'll say edit item dot ID. So I'm checking edit item dot ID should be equal to this element dot ID. Element ID is nothing but when we are looping the array, this is element dot ID, this is element dot ID. And this edit item dot ID which I want to edit it. So I get the index of this edit item and I will create this new object which I will replace for this index. So to create this object, we have to create the copy of this edit item first. So I created the copy of this edit item. Edit item is nothing but an object. Okay, this is the object. So I create the copy. If I want to create the copy of object, I am using curly bracket. And then I will update with the new value. What value I want to change it? I want to change the value thing. And thing should be the new thing. The new value is in this thing. So I am updating this edit item thing with the new thing. So now this new object will have everything what edit item has, but the thing will be updated with the new value because this new value is having inside the thing. So it goes into this thing. Now I have to put this object in place of the old object. So for example, I have 1 and 2. I have to replace this second one. So I will delete this and replace with this new object. Okay. So I have to delete the old object at this index and replace with this one. So I will use same thing of the splice. So here also I need to create the copy of things. Otherwise I cannot. So I create the copy of things. And then I splice. I have to delete the old one because I have to delete the old index. I don't need the old one. I am updating it. So I delete the old one. And splice has one more parameter. After deleting, I can add also at that position. So I will add object at that position. So I'm deleting one object at position index and I'm replacing or adding new object at that same position. After that, I will update the things again like in previously in delete I did. So I'll repeat this again. I'll just show you what I'm trying to do. I'll remove this console.log. I don't need it. Okay, so what I did, I created a new object. I took the old edit item and I replaced with the new thing which I updated it. I created the copy of the things in the array of whole lot. I splice it with the index position which I want to delete it. That is, I want to replace it. I delete it first and then update with the new object which I created here. And then I updated the set things. So this will delete the old item and add a new item at that same position. And then we can update the whole set of things. Let's see this in action and then we are done with the edit. Then I'll repeat again one more time so it will be clear. So initially I'll add movies, cricket, blah, blah, something. So let's say I don't want this one, I'll delete this one. but I want to change this part. See, remember this 798. When I click this, I get this one. I will say wonderful. Now when I click update, you have to pay attention on this 798. 798 is same and wonderful is appearing here. Let's edit this one. Okay, it's not updating this one. So after, let's do it one little bit later. So after I'm done with this one, let's empty this edit item so that I should be out of this edit form. So I will make edit item null. Okay, so let's do edit item null. So I'll be out of this one. So let's try to do now test 2. I'm able to test 2. Okay, let's empty this also. Sorry, I need to edit. I need to empty this also. I need to make all whatever was there previously set thing equal to empty one. Now we'll see again. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll update it. Now I'm in the add form. Edit it. Let's edit this one. Again, this I can edit it. Okay. Delete it. Okay, now things are working correctly. Let's do the functionality check again and then we'll go to the code again how I did it. So when I add movies, it is updated in the thing variable, and when I click submit, it goes into the things variable. And then let's delete this, edit this. Okay. So when I click the delete one, I take this ID and find the index. This is 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. I find the index 2 and I use splice to delete this one. Okay. Delete, I add one more. Okay, there is this 2. Now when I click edit, I put this whole row in some variable, and if that variable is present, I show different form. So I show different form. And this variable has all this whatever present in here. So I can see edit this here. I put changes. When I click update, it finds the index of this one and delete this part and replace this position with the new object with every value same, only this part is changed. So you see I am at the same position, but I have changed this part. I can delete this again. So this is all about add, edit, delete. Let's go to edit code again. Okay, so now let's go through again the whole code. Initially I created this thing value. This thing value is only needed for this input box. So whenever I do the changes in the input box, I need to update this thing value. Purpose of thing value is done. We need the thing value to update this input box. I update it using this. I display it using this. In the edit, initially when the form comes, thing is null. So I show whatever user want to edit it. And as soon as user edit it, that thing value is updated and we show different thing value. That is the new one which user is updated. Initially it show edit item not thing. Later when they change, we show the thing. Whenever we add something, it goes into the array called as things using the set things, and I put it in the array. And how I put it, I put it by taking the previous value of things and adding the new object which is created like this. When I click the delete button, I have the ID of the delete part. I take the index of the delete part and check the ID which is matching with the ID in the array, and if it is matching, I get the index and I use a splice to delete that part and I replace the things with the new copy. Whenever I edit the things, whenever I click the edit button, I update the variable set edit item. So I know that I want to edit something. Since I want to know edit something, I show this form. When I click this form, I know which item I want to edit. Based on the item which I want to edit, I will find the index. I created the new object with all items same as edit item, but I will change only the thing with the thing which I updated in the text field. Then I create the copy of things and I delete the index part and replace with the new object which I created. Then I update the things and I remove the edit item as null. I remove the setting thing as empty one. Since edit item is not used in any of the input box, I can use the null. But set thing is used in here as a value, so I used single quotation. So that's all about add, edit, delete, and list one. Any questions? And now, if you have any question in this, you can ask, or you can go to the recording, do this project again and again, so that you will, when you will do, you will see the mistakes or problems, and then when you fix that problem, then you will know what exactly is happening. Because this part is little complex, edit part, generally try to avoid edit part in first few practice, and then you put the edit part, because edit part is something little, not very straightforward. This dot item, we are not using this anywhere in this code. Okay, GitLab is like this. I'll go to GitLab and add the GitLab one. Let's go to GitLab. Where is the GitLab? Okay, this is the teaching one. Okay, I'll copy and paste the GitLab. I'll put it in the Telegram also. So I will put in the Telegram the GitLab URL. You can check the Telegram. Okay, I'll commit this in the GitLab also, this code. Let's do it now. I'll do it now. I'll go to terminal. I'm already running this and put this in PowerShell 2. I'll do git status, and these are the new files. I'll do git add, git commit, git push. Okay, so committed in the git also. You can see my code also if you want to. Though I created these two files, which are actually not needed now for this today's task, but when we go with the real database, we will be using these two files. We will be having different files. So if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we will meet tomorrow for the new thing, that is creating the live projects and as it is, means how we do in the real world, the React project. So it will be a kind of real React project, and I will show you how to do the things in the React. Tomorrow 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which will change to 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time from November 1. But tomorrow it is 7:30 to 8:30 Indian Standard Time. But we will not do only the React project. We will also do other things like object-oriented JavaScript and problems in JavaScript and project. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Let me stop the recording.